Weiss, and for the past 50 years, I run the only ratings agency in America. My name is Martin Weiss, and for the past 50 years, I run the only ratings agency in America that has consistently warned investors ahead of time about big bank failures, precisely the crisis we face today. But this time, the crisis is very different. And so today, I have an entirely new kind of warning. Starting this summer, nearly all your banking transactions could come under direct federal surveillance. What's worse, the government could gain the power to take over your bank account for virtually any reason. This isn't hearsay or a crazy internet rumor. It's all laid out right here in this 93-page official government document I'm holding in my hand. Federal Reserve docket numbered OP 1670. This innocent-sounding document, which was never meant for the general public, reveals a new Federal Reserve program that could give the government the power to suspend your ability to pay others, suspend your ability to receive money, punish you with fees and fines, and even seize control over your money. This is alarming, and it's especially frightening now at a time when the government officials are desperately scrambling to cope with a new financial emergency, a dangerous surge of big bank failures. No one can predict exactly what they will do, but I do know this: desperate governments do desperate things. There is a way for you to escape the dangers, and I will show you how, but you don't have a lot of time to prepare. Because the Federal Reserve has officially announced that it will roll out its new program just weeks from now. Imagine this scenario. You wake up one morning, log into your bank account, and stare at a flashing red alert. Your account's transactions have been frozen. Your ability to send money and receive money shut down. Your crime? You didn't commit one. It all starts with this document outlining a frightening new program that could give unelected federal officials the power to closely monitor or even freeze your account based on your everyday transactions, based on your buying behavior, even based on your political views or the charities you donate money to. Over 100 of the nation's largest banks have already joined and will be a part of the rollout starting this summer. So there's a good chance your bank is already participating. I'll share the names of the banks involved in a moment, but you don't have much time left. And that's why I'm talking to you today, to warn you and to show you what I'm doing with my own money to protect my own retirement. There are 4 steps I think everyone should take immediately. But before I share the details, let me explain why I'm doing this. I founded my company, my research and ratings company, in 1971 to do something that Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and Fitch have never done. You see, the big 3 ratings agencies charge the companies a big fee to give them a rating. The ratings are literally bought and paid for by the very same companies being rated. I have never accepted, and I never will accept, a dime from the companies we rate. We provide the nation's only truly independent, unbiased ratings on nearly every bank, every investment in America. And that's the main reason we've been able to warn about nearly all the failures well in advance. Today, my goal is not to scare you. God knows there's enough fear in America today already. My goal is to help you prepare so you need not be afraid. That's what my team and I have always done in time of crisis. We predicted the bank failures of the 1980s and 1990s, helping tens of thousands of families find safety. We sounded the alarm about the dot-com bust of the early 2000s before it began. And again, those who acted on our warnings could have gotten out with their money intact or even made fortunes, while those who ignored us lost 90%, even 100% of their money. Months before the 2008 financial crisis, we did it again. We predicted the failure of the nation's banks with a stunning 99.8% accuracy. We made these predictions with our 52,000 Weiss ratings. Ratings we issue continually on every bank, stock, ETF, and mutual fund in America, all without accepting a penny from the rated companies, all with complete independence and objectivity. That's the main reason Barron said Weiss is the leader in identifying vulnerable companies. It's also why the Nonpartisan Government Accountability Office, the GAO, reported on the unusual accuracy of our warnings to consumers about future financial failures. But there's also another important side of our ratings, not just to protect your money from danger, but also to help you build your wealth in good times or bad. The Wall Street Journal reported that investors who followed our ratings could have made more money than those who followed the ratings issued by Deutsche Bank, Merrill Lynch, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, Standard & Poor's, and every other firm they reviewed. That's just one example of how investors could have found safety and made money during prior crises. But the kind of crisis we face today is much more frightening. This docket in my hands could drastically alter your retirement plans, since it gives government officials the ability to track and even control nearly all your banking transactions. It could also give them the power to control all your investments. They could virtually shut down your ability to invest in companies that do not fit their agenda, to purchase gold or cryptocurrencies, to move your money abroad, even to donate to your favorite causes. Don't think this can happen here in America? Think again, because it already has happened, and quite recently, in fact. The federal government illegally spied on millions of American citizens who were never suspected of any wrongdoing whatsoever. It's all revealed in this slide from a top-secret PowerPoint presentation that the NSA and the FBI used to train their agents. Look at the left column. These are the so-called providers, the companies that provided your private data to the government. Microsoft, Google, Yahoo, Facebook, YouTube, Skype, AOL, Apple, and others. And see this list in the right column? These are your private activities that the government agents could search and spy on at any time, whether live or recorded. Your chats, videos, photos, stored data, any file you've ever sent, and the websites you visited, plus details about your friends, too. This was under the Obama administration, but it could happen under any government, left, right, or in between. All they'd need is an excuse to declare a national emergency, like big bank failures. Maybe you think the government would never take control over your assets? Government confiscation of assets from private citizens is a long-standing tradition and a very common practice. Consider nursing student Stephanie Wilson. Not long ago, 2 of her cars were seized, and she lost the first car forever. Or what about Terry Rowland? He gave $82,373 in cash to his daughter to open a joint bank account. It was his entire life savings for retirement, but every penny was seized as she passed through Pittsburgh International Airport on her way to open the account. Meanwhile, a man who managed a Christian charity for adults and orphans collected $53,000 in cash donations. On the way to deposit the money, he was pulled over by a cop during a routine traffic stop. Every penny was seized. But none of these people ever did anything wrong. Sure, in a court of law, people are presumed innocent until proven guilty. But when the government confiscates your money or any other asset, you're presumed guilty until you can prove your innocence. How often does it happen? Well, according to the Institute for Justice, it's a massive nationwide problem. Since the year 2000, they've collected 17 million data points of confiscation by 45 states, the District of Columbia, and the federal government. Are these numbers exaggerated in some way? No. Most states do not provide complete data, so if anything, the number of Americans affected is grossly understated. Even investigative reporters at the Washington Post looked into this. They found that just in one recent year, the U.S. Justice Department and the U.S. Treasury received $5 billion in assets confiscated from private citizens. But only $3.5 billion was stolen money. The rest was taken away from innocent Americans. Most of these cases have involved hard cash or other physical assets, and that's bad enough, right? But this document reveals a whole new level of potential government overreach. It shows that federal authorities will soon have the ability to apply similar confiscation tactics to the money in your bank account. Why don't you hear more about this? I think it's mainly because most experts don't understand how government overreach and government excesses have routinely led to disaster for millions of Americans. Those experts haven't connected the dots, but my family and I have. My father, Irving Weiss, was a broker on Wall Street since the 1920s. He predicted the crash of 1929, the great banking crisis of the early 1930s, and the Great Depression that followed. Years later, in 1959, he founded the Sound Dollar Committee, which was instrumental in helping President Dwight D. Eisenhower balance the federal budget. And that's when I first tagged along. This is the family legacy that helped me ring the alarm bells before the dot-com bust of 2000 and before the great financial crisis of 2008. Consider the Big Bear Stearns failure, for example. On December 3, 2007, I published an alert warning that Bear Stearns has sunk its balance sheet even deeper into the hole, with $20.2 billion in dead assets, or 155% of its equity, and is threatened with insolvency. Bear Stearns collapsed 33 days later. I also published an article warning that Lehman Brothers is in similar shape because of an even larger $34.7 billion pileup of dead assets, or 160% of its equity. Lehman collapsed 182 days later. And that single collapse is what ignited the greatest financial crisis since the Great Depression. I also warned well ahead of time about Washington Mutual, Bank of America, Citigroup, and all the major banks that failed or required a bailout. I pounded the table for investors, telling them, do not touch these companies with a 10-foot pole. While all along, officials on Wall Street and in Washington swore on a stack of Bibles that no such failures could ever be possible.
Our banking system is a safe and a sound one.
We know how that played out. Those who listened to me would have kept every penny of their savings and investments far, far away from those banks. They would have avoided catastrophic losses and the personal pain that comes with them, while those who owned the shares in those same big banks saw them plunge 96%, 98%, even 100% from their peak value. Now, financial institutions are failing again. Not just mid-sized banks like Silicon Valley Bank or Silverado Bank, but also giants like Credit Suisse and First Republic Bank. And this time around, it's not just the failures that are so dangerous, it's also the government's new powers to respond to those failures, to declare a national emergency, to control and even confiscate the financial assets of millions of innocent retirees. And never forget, the closer you get to retirement age, and especially if you are already in retirement, the more crucial it is to protect every penny you've earned. Unfortunately, today, it's not as simple as consulting with a financial advisor or relying on your 401k or IRA. No, because the U.S. government itself could soon be targeting your money, not just your investment portfolio, but also your savings and checking accounts. Yes, your ordinary bank accounts. Something that's supposed to be reliable, FDIC insured, and safe. Unfortunately, it's no longer safe. Understand that after decades of successful forecasting, I was actually semi-retired myself. But in the last few years, I've come out of retirement to sound these alarms with a very different and far starker warning today than my previous and accurate disaster predictions. This goes beyond any individual company, any particular sector of the economy, or any specific market cycle. It goes beyond your investment portfolio. Today, I'm warning you about your right to spend and receive money as you wish, and how this right could be quietly erased by an eerie Federal Reserve program. The name of this program is FedNow, although I prefer to call it Fed Control, because that's exactly what I think it could turn into. The Fed's power to control your ability to spend and receive money. Over 121 financial institutions have joined the first phase of FedNow, including Capital One, Fidelity, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, U.S. Bank, Wells Fargo, and all these others on your screen. If you have a checking account with any of the banks you see on the screen, you need to take 4 steps immediately. Keep in mind, though, these 121 banks are merely part of the first phase. Soon thereafter, this program will roll out to virtually all U.S. banks, credit unions, and savings and loans. And I repeat, the Fed Control program is launching this year. You cannot opt out. You cannot simply switch banks. You don't get to vote against this, and you don't have a lot of time. The program is about to launch, and almost no one outside the Federal Reserve understands what's really possible. I fear this will be much worse than the simple government surveillance we saw under the Bush and Obama administrations. And I fear it will be far bigger than the asset confiscations we witnessed in America so far, because now government officials will have the power to choke off any of your money that's connected to the U.S. banking system at will. And if they decide you're not in compliance with whatever their agenda dictates at the time, for all intents and purposes, your account could be frozen. It doesn't matter if you're trying to buy a gift online for your grandson. It doesn't matter if you're standing in line at the grocery store trying to buy next week's food for your family. It doesn't matter if you're trying to pay off your Visa or MasterCard bill, or your phone bill, or your mortgage. It doesn't matter if you've done nothing wrong. With the Federal Reserve gaining the power to control nearly all money transactions, it's not about innocence or guilt as defined by the law. When they control your money, they control your life. Here's another reason this frightens me. As part of my economic research, I've spent nearly 20 years living in Latin America and Asia, and I can tell you that corrupt governments have a specific blueprint for controlling their citizens. Now, I never thought this kind of control mechanism would come to America, but it has. So how does it work? How does the Fed gain control over your transactions? I'm sure you've purchased many items and paid for many services by writing a check or swiping your card, or perhaps you've used something like Apple Pay. You've also made deposits in your checking account, or even had paychecks set up for direct deposit automatically. How exactly does the money move from your bank account to someone else's? It's something we hardly think about, and yet over $2 trillion worth of these transactions happen every day. Yes, over $2 trillion every single day. That includes the money transactions you make, that your family makes, that your friends make, and every company you pay or that pays you. It also includes Social Security payments from the government. Most of these transactions are handled by a company called the Clearinghouse, which is owned by major banks. The Clearinghouse has been handling interbank transactions for 169 years. And while the system is far from perfect, it's worked for over a century and a half. However, the Federal Reserve saw the chance to make it more efficient. And in 2019, with little fanfare or press coverage, they released their docket number OP 1670. The docket reveals their plan to take over these transactions, but that's not all. It also reveals their plan to centralize all transactions handled by private payment systems, such as PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and more. In other words, the Federal Reserve will be the central engine in charge of all payment systems with the power to control how you spend and receive your money. They'll have their hands on the entire process. Now, why exactly would they want to do that? Buried on page 84 of the Fed's docket number OP 1670, they admit that it will make it easier to track the spending of Americans. Think back to the scenario I asked you to imagine earlier. Staring at a blood-red notice flashing on your screen that your ability to make transactions has been suspended. Wondering if it could be because you posted some comment or supported some political cause they don't believe in. Speech or donations that used to be within your rights, your God-given American rights. As disturbing as this may be, it's actually quite clever. Rather than make free speech and political donations outright illegal, they will have the power to use your own bank account to punish you. You're probably aware that banks already require you to fill out special IRS forms if you attempt to withdraw about $10,000 or more in cash. Well, with Fed control, merely transferring money from one place to another in practically any amount could raise red flags, and they might not target you alone. Because they'll control all checking accounts, they could even freeze the transactions of your family. Picture one of your children or grandchildren discovering their ability to spend and receive money has been shut down. Some people seem to think the government would never do crazy things or change their policies drastically, right? But the truth is, our government already has done crazy things and has already changed their policies drastically. The U.S. Congress has abandoned any sense of fiscal sanity and given us more than $31 trillion in government debt. The U.S. Federal Reserve has abandoned any sense of monetary sanity and printed $8 trillion in paper money. No wonder so many people are terrified the U.S. dollar will become worthless as prices scream from inflation to hyperinflation. Almost like Germany after World War I or Zimbabwe in the 21st century. Whenever a currency starts plummeting in value, the people holding that currency scramble to get rid of it. They rush to stores and they buy any tangible item until the shelves are empty. They hoard food. They try to exchange the worthless currency for anything that has value. But if a small group of unelected officials controls your ability to spend money, do you really think they'll allow you to dump your U.S. dollars in a hyperinflation scenario? No. They will declare a national emergency. They will slam shut nearly every avenue of escape, and you'll be stuck watching helplessly as your savings rot away to nothing. As someone who has studied the U.S. economy for over 50 years and who has accurately predicted the worst of the government's crusades against American savers, including the 2008 meltdown, I can assure you the chances are increasing that the Federal Reserve will use this power to control your spending. Think this won't happen in the United States? Well, it's already happened in North America. Over 200 bank accounts were frozen in early 2022. The bank accounts of thousands of protesters were frozen, and they were locked out of their money. It all happened in Canada when the government ordered the mass freeze to break the backs of protesting Canadian truckers who were trying to do their job and provide for their families. Canada used the 1988 Emergencies Act, for the first time ever, mind you, to freeze the finances of these men and women. Even people who merely donated to their cause reported their accounts were frozen too. This wasn't just Canada either. United States citizens who donated to the cause were subject to the same order. The Assistant Deputy Minister of Finance warned that these punishments could continue, and Newsweek reported the Emergencies Act has also allowed the Canadian government to expand the country's money laundering and terrorist financing laws. Starting to see the full picture? In the U.S., under Fed control, if the government defaults on its debt, or if a few more big banks fail, they could also declare a national emergency and assume emergency powers. And even in the absence of an emergency, If you spend your money in a way that threatens them, they could say you're financing terrorism. Here's one more quote from the Deputy Prime Minister that should send chills down your spine. We now have the tools to follow the money. We can see what is happening and what is being planned in real time, and we are absolutely determined. So they can follow your money. They can see what you're planning. They are determined. And Fed control could be like handing them a ballistic missile pointed straight at you. As they record your spending and track your donations, imagine being issued a warning for donating to the wrong cause or the wrong candidate. And don't think your bank is going to stop this invasion of your privacy. Chances are your bank is begging to join the program. Like I said, over 100 banks have already enlisted to help with the rollout. So if you're an American citizen with a checking account, you simply can't sit back and wait anymore. You must act now. That's why I'm going to show you right now on this screen the only solution I trust to protect your ability to spend and receive money. It allows you to escape from the boot heel of the Federal Reserve. I call it the Make Your Money Safe Again solution. It's simple and easy to use, and when you put it into action, you legally and ethically protect and grow your savings while dodging the Federal Reserve's control. Even better, with the way the global economy is deteriorating, our Make Your Money Safe Again solution is also the best bet to increase your wealth. I've lived through situations like this before. When I was in Brazil, the government seized the savings accounts of countless citizens. Then they replaced the money in people's accounts with a new currency that was worth a lot less. Years earlier, it was even worse. When inflation hit triple digits, they blamed it on their political opponents. They engineered a coup d'etat, and they destroyed all traces of democracy or freedom. I never thought anything like this could ever come to America. But now I've changed my mind. Now it's close, too close for comfort. I bet the citizens of Brazil would have given anything, just for a warning ahead of time. But today, we're lucky. We've gotten that warning from the 93 pages of Federal Reserve docket number OP 1670. And they're about to flip the switch. So how will they roll out Fed control? Step 1, they are creating a platform so massive that all banks can use it. Step 2, they will offer lower fees for transactions than anyone else. Lower fees for you? No. Lower fees for the banks. So there's a huge incentive for the banks to let the Fed take control, which is why the banks are already lining up and begging to use this service and why the government doesn't need to pass new laws to make it happen. The clock is ticking, but you don't get a chance to vote no. It doesn't matter which party is in control at the White House or Congress. You cannot stop Fed control, but you can protect yourself. And the solution is make your money safe again. Let's dive into how it works. First, though, let me tell you what Make Your Money Safe Again is not. It's not about simply opening an account in another bank. I predict nearly all U.S. banks will fall in line with Fed control. It's not about switching to alternative payment platforms like PayPal. In fact, PayPal has already been caught slapping $2,500 fines on anyone who promotes misinformation with their system. And reporters have already been banned from PayPal simply for refusing to comply with Washington's narrative about foreign affairs. Make Your Money Safe Again works in a completely different way. It gives control back to you. It helps you through the coming financial storm, which is going to get much worse. And it gives you the opportunity to become wealthier in the process. But you must know exactly how to outsmart Fed control. And that's why today I'm going to share my full Make Your Money Safe Again solution with you. As an American citizen, I feel it's my duty to get this vital information into as many people's hands as I can. I've written up the entire solution in a new step-by-step report called Take Back Control of Your Savings and Grow Wealthier. I'll show you how to get your copy in just a moment. And inside, I'll show you exactly how to beat Fed control. I will give you a unique way to store your savings that's completely outside the control of any bank, that's off the grid, but not offshore. In fact, you'll be able to hold your savings securely in the palm of your hand. This is very different from online banking or using an app like PayPal or Venmo. Instead, this is the closest you can come to being your own bank. And the bottom line is, you'll have control over your savings, which is going to be crucial for your freedom from Fed control. If you want safety for yourself and for your family, I think my Make Your Money Safe Again solution is ideal for you. Now, it's important to know that even though you're going to discover several financial loopholes for securing your savings, everything is 100% legal. As much as the government might hope you don't take advantage of them, there's nothing they can do to stop you. You can rest easy in the knowledge that you're protecting your savings and your freedom to spend them as you see fit. You'll be one of the few in-the-know people in your neighborhood, or perhaps the only one. Of course, you should share your secrets with your family and the friends you trust. You get to be the hero who helps them escape Fed control. And it all starts today if you say, yes, Martin, to this opportunity. You'll be able to immediately download your bonus report, take back control of your savings, and grow wealthier. That's right. A copy is reserved and waiting for you to claim it. And I'll show you how to grab it in just a moment. First, let's talk about an asset I've been pounding the table about for almost 4 decades, gold. Because as you learn about these disturbing events speeding our way, you've probably thought of gold as a safe haven. If so, that's wise. Throughout history, when paper money's value has evaporated, even to the point that a wheelbarrow of cash couldn't buy a loaf of bread, gold has maintained its value with a 5,000-year track record. So if the Federal Reserve gets its hooks into your bank account, wouldn't you want to have a stash of gold kept somewhere safe, where it isn't canceled, frozen, or confiscated? I sure would. And in fact, I've already got my savings in gold. That's why I want to send you another bonus report called The Ultimate Gold War Chest. When you go through this report, you'll feel confident in your ability to get the best deals in gold. You'll know how to buy gold the right way and avoid the many scams out there. You'll also know how to store your gold the right way, because the wrong way could make you wind up as a victim. And also, you could profit enormously from gold. Isn't gold supposed to be just a safe haven? Well, it usually is, but when you time your purchases correctly, you have the opportunity to build plenty of wealth. For example, since my firm began recommending gold, it's gone up 450% in value, turning a $10,000 investment into $55,000. Plus, we're going to show you a simple way to invest in gold that's not actually buying the metal. This gold trick could rocket your wealth up as global fears, supply chain disruptions, and government surveillance get worse. One of the best parts of this trick is it's often cheaper than buying gold, yet you can make more money. You will discover the smartest way to get your hands on gold, the other precious metal that almost always rises faster than gold, common and not so common gold scams to avoid, how to get the equivalent of free gold by buying in a certain way, how to avoid losing your gold, something that can happen more often than you may think due to a sneaky trick used by thieves. Plus, there's one more very important item in this report. You see, back in 1933, the U.S. government ordered private citizens to hand over their gold. Just in case something like this happens again, we put together a special chapter of this report called The Gold Confiscation Loophole, because it turns out one specific kind of gold was exempt from this government grab. you could have thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of this kind of gold, and the government wouldn't be able to touch any part of it. If the president declares a national emergency and orders the confiscation of gold, then this is the only gold you'd want to own. In a moment, I'll show you how to download it instantly, but I've actually got more for you. Look, we've analyzed a lot of scary facts in our time together, so I want to emphasize this is no time to give up hope. Even in the darkest of times, there's always a way to secure and grow your money. Even during Germany's horrific hyperinflation, it was possible for citizens to escape and preserve their wealth if they prepared the right way. I know you might not feel this way when you look at stocks or you look at bonds in the year 2022. After their worst performance in decades, and after a much tougher real estate market, it seemed like there's nowhere to turn. But this isn't my first rodeo facing bad markets, far from it. Those who listen to me have had the opportunity to profit while most investments burned. During the tech crash in the early 2000s, those who followed our ratings could have kept their money safe and then made a lot of money by picking up big bargains in 2004. And during the 2008 crash, those who followed our ratings could have again kept their money safe and again made a lot of money by picking up big bargains after the storm. Imagine seeing financial carnage on the evening news while glancing at your investment portfolio and watching your portfolio grow. Let me tell you, it's a wonderful and comfortable feeling, secure in the knowledge that you're properly providing for your family. If you're skeptical, I understand. After all, the typical portfolios based on traditional portfolio allocation got slaughtered. Just look at this chart. It shows how average investors saw the worst returns in a century, which is why I make sure our recommendations are anything but typical. And very recently, we've identified 12 companies that we predict are going to benefit from all the consequences of the Fed manipulations and the Fed control. Now, why would you care about this? Simple. It's one thing to escape what the Fed's doing, but it's another thing entirely to take advantage of the Fed's present and future actions, to turn them into opportunities to make money as they try to take away your freedom. You see, the U.S. Government Accountability Office investigated our ratings of life and health insurance companies, and they concluded that we greatly outperformed all other rating agencies, including Standard & Poor's, Moody's, and AM Best. I think this was one of the rare times when the government actually did something right. And never forget, the Wall Street Journal reported that investors who had used our ratings could have made more money than if they had followed the ratings issued by Deutsche Bank, Merrill Lynch, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Standard & Poor's, and every single other firm they reviewed. I don't say this to brag. Instead, it's to show you that the accuracy of our forecasts is no accident. It's based on a tremendous amount of data, research, and hard work. Plus, it can potentially be very profitable for investors. When you take advantage of my team's research, you get a big advantage in building your retirement wealth. And at this very moment, we predict certain companies are going to enjoy windfall profits from the coming chaos. We predict that the shares of these companies could double or even triple in the next 3 years. If we're right about even just a few of these companies, and we're confident in all of them, then I think you have a pretty good chance to grow your wealth rapidly as the rest of the world panics. All the details are revealed in a new report we've prepared, 12 inflation-beating stocks for the next 12 months. I'm sure you can see that inflation isn't going away anytime soon. Despite any temporary improvements here and there, it's probably going to get much worse. Plus, with all the turmoil, most average stocks could, at best, be going absolutely nowhere for the next few years. Here's the good news. In past market conditions that were very similar to what we're facing today, a certain way to invest captured 90% of the returns that investors made. Even better news, you can still use this simple investment strategy today. And we show you exactly what this strategy is, including 12 stocks you can buy today that fit the strategy hand in glove. This report gives you the exact names and tickers. It tells you when and how to add them to your portfolio. And if history is any indication, they could be an ideal way to profit from the fallout of the Fed's follies. Plus, there's one more gift I've set aside for you, and I predict this one could be a game changer for your portfolio. You see, my firm has been quietly studying an investment asset that has vastly outperformed stocks, bonds, and real estate. This asset has turned average people into millionaires and even multimillionaires. And we believe the events of 2022 have opened up an ideal new window into this opportunity starting in 2023. I'm urging investors who listen to stake their claim in this asset because we predict it's about to rocket higher again. We tell you exactly how to get in with our special bonus report, The Weird Way to Make Extraordinary Profits in a Financial Crisis. Yes, the profit potential is extraordinary. And no, this has nothing to do with shorting stocks or buying options, nor am I talking about Bitcoin. But I do ask one thing. It's okay to warn your friends and neighbors about how bad things are going to get. And of course, it's good to share with them what you've learned about Fed control and about gold. But this report, you might want to keep it to yourself and your loved ones. Now, when you get all 4 bonus reports, take back control of your savings and grow wealthier. The ultimate gold war chest, 12 inflation-beating stocks for the next 12 months. The Weird Way to Make Extraordinary Profits in a Financial Crisis. You will have 4 simple steps to protect your savings. Our complete solution to make your money safe again. You will have everything we think you need to secure your savings from the jaws of the Fed control. Build the ideal gold portfolio that could carry you through this financial crisis. Claim your share of the companies we predict will soar due to the Fed's actions and plans. Position yourself for life-altering wealth with an unusual investment strategy that has often been a millionaire maker. Be a guardian for your family savings and enjoy the power and freedom that others, those who don't step up, may never have. With this power and freedom, you're stepping into an inner circle. Men and women like you who see the battles that are coming and who understand the importance of preserving our freedom and increasing our wealth. I see Fed control as emblematic of what could be a very disturbing period in America, when the government tries to decide and control how private people should behave. So the time to stand up to this madness is now. You've just learned some truly scary facts that are not widely known about how the financial system is shifting against the average person. The media has kept silent about it. Politicians are keeping quiet, all while everyday Americans could be at risk of seeing some of their most precious freedoms ripped apart and their money imprisoned. You don't have to be one of them. You can be one of the few who finds protection for yourself and for your loved ones before the storm, and the potential to even grow wealthier when chaos erupts. The vital information you've learned today is the kind of intelligence my team and I have been gathering for years. And we've been sharing that intelligence in a private membership called Safe Money. In our Safe Money report, we warn our members about threats to their savings and retirement that we believe are right around the corner. We give them our Safe Money model portfolio, including the stocks that are at the very pinnacle of our ratings. And we provide advance warnings that can make or break anyone's financial future. You've already heard some of the highlights, like how we've helped our members avoid hundreds of bank failures, how we helped them sidestep the tech meltdown, saving those who listened from a drop in their portfolios of as much as 75%, and how well before the collapse of Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, Washington Mutual, Citigroup, and Wachovia, we warned our readers. At the time, we were bold contrarians. We dared predict what others said was impossible, unthinkable, and even crazy. But history has proven us right. And that's just the beginning. With Fed control upon us, American citizens could now become part of an experiment in which our savings could be used against us for their agenda, where your ability to send and receive money could be taken away if you stand up against how they want to shape the country and the world. No one can predict the future with precision, but our painstaking analysis tells us that this storm is going to get much worse before it gets better. And with safe money, we're prepared to help you navigate every step of the way. In prior financial crises, the New York Times wrote that Weiss was first to see the dangers and say so unambiguously. Esquire wrote that Weiss is the only one providing grades with no conflicts of interest. The founder of Newsmax said, Martin Weiss's prediction of the current economic crisis is uncanny. Now is your chance to get this kind of foresight and insight, working to protect and grow your retirement. Will you be there with us? For over 40 years, Safe Money has published lists of the most vulnerable public companies, ETFs, and mutual funds before a crisis sent them plummeting. Plus, we've also published lists of companies that are the most likely to thrive in the coming crisis. We've built a track record that has gotten the attention of Barron's, Forbes, Fortune Magazine, the New York Times, and the Wall Street Journal. They've all recognized our ability to identify the losers and the winners, to predict market events. Barron's wrote that Weiss is the leader in identifying vulnerable companies. This is because we've built a massive database on more than 53,000 companies and investments. This database actually started many, many years ago with my father, Irving Weiss. He was a stockbroker in the 1920s and was one of the very, very few people who warned a crash was coming. Even as other stockbrokers laughed at him, my father advised his clients, family, and friends to get the heck out of the market. Then, on October 28, 1929, came Black Monday. The market plunged and ruined so many lives, but my father got to work. He built a spreadsheet of as many companies as he could and created formulas to identify each company's risk of failing. Then, using his formulas, he took a $500 investment and turned it into $100,000, the equivalent of $2 million in today's dollars, in just 2 years. Today, our team of analysts, mathematicians, and data scientists use his original formulas, combined with new formulas and advanced computer models, to cut through the financial fog and detect early warning signals. This is how we were able to accurately predict the bank failures of the 1980s, the dot-com collapse of the early 2000s, and the great financial crisis of 2008. For example, during and after the great financial crisis, 465 banks failed, catching millions of Americans off guard. But using our data and our ratings, we were able to warn in advance about 464 of those failures. Yes, before the banks failed. We missed only one, a stunning 99.8% rate of accuracy. As you might imagine, all the publicly traded banks that went bankrupt saw their stocks plunge in value, many to zero. Ditto for the stocks of other failed companies. But our safe money covers more than just stocks. We also dive deep into protecting and growing your 401k and IRA and every kind of investment it contains, not to mention your real estate. Today, I'm inviting you to join us. If you choose to join the elite group of Safe Money members, if you step up to be one of us, you'll get the same kind of accurate information others have gotten over 4 decades, avoiding the worst financial downturns, protecting their families while others panic helplessly. Our aim is to help you grow your wealth, even while others lose theirs. Every month, we'll send you our best intelligence to help you navigate the coming chaos. You see, Safe Money goes way beyond helping you escape Fed control. You will also discover our recommendations for many other investments and the right companies to invest in. Plus, our Safe Money report dives deep into protecting your wealth just as much as growing it. You'll discover precious metal strategies designed to keep your wealth safe no matter what happens. You'll discover which sectors of the market to avoid, like the plague, as the crisis gets worse, and which sectors to zero in on, so you can look back upon this day as the time when your nest egg began to grow, and grow. From my 50 years of investing, I can assure you there is always a way to win, to get wealthy, no matter what the markets may be doing. And our mission is to always find that way. When you're a member of Safe Money, we want to make sure you know exactly which stocks to buy, and equally important, which stocks to sell. Our goal is for you to watch your wealth grow even while others, who didn't heed our warnings, begin to panic, that you will enjoy the power and freedom that only a small few get to experience. But I do want to give you a fair warning ahead of time. Safe Money is not for everyone. Some people can't handle the unvarnished truth about the economy. Some people want to keep their heads in the sand. And some are, quite frankly, turned off by our plain speak and no-holds-barred approach. Those people often don't stick around with Safe Money. But I think you will. Because we've come this far together, I know that you, like me, are a proud American, passionate about keeping your God-given freedoms, and ready to grow the fruits of your labor. Plus, a membership in Safe Money will give you more than just reports. You'll be part of a community of like-minded investors with direct access to some of the most powerful investing tools in the world. With your Safe Money membership, you get premium access to all 53,000 of our Weiss ratings, which we've sold separately for $228 per year. And that includes premium access to our Weiss ratings to check the safety of your bank or credit union. These are the ratings that warned in advance about the bank failures of the great financial crisis with 99.8% accuracy. And your premium access also includes our Weiss ratings to check the safety of your insurance company. The ratings that are studied by the U.S. Government Accountability Office showed were far more accurate than those of all other rating agencies. Just these safety ratings alone make it a wise decision to become a Safe Money member. But you get much, much more. You also get total access to the Weiss investment ratings, giving you buy and sell signals for every stock, ETF, or mutual fund you own or may wish to own. And our investment ratings also have a long history of success. We launched the beta version of our stock ratings a few months before the dot-com bust of the early 2000s. At the time, every major firm on Wall Street was touting NASDAQ stocks, urging investors to buy. In fact, according to Zacks Investment Research, nearly all of the ratings issued by Wall Street were buys at the time. But our ratings said exactly the opposite. We gave nearly all NASDAQ stocks a sell rating, and not a single one got a buy. Sure enough, less than 3 years later, the NASDAQ Composite Index was down 75%, and many of Wall Street's most favorite darlings lost 100% of their value. So, by 2004, after getting burned so badly, most Wall Street firms threw in the towel. That's when they finally downgraded most tech stocks to a sell, after it was too late, way too late for investors. And again, we did exactly the opposite. That's when we launched our full-fledged Weiss stock ratings to identify some of the best buying opportunities. And that's when we started upgrading the most promising stocks to a buy. We upgraded Tyler Technologies to a buy on January 2nd, 2004, and have never since downgraded it to a sell. Since then, it has produced a total return of 3,984%. We upgraded NetEase to a buy on the same day and have never downgraded it to a sell. It has since delivered investors returns of 4,446%. We upgraded Teledyne Technologies to a buy on June 28, 2004, and have never downgraded it to a sell ever since. It has gained 1,937%. We upgraded Apple to a buy on September 27, 2004, and like all the others I've cited, we never again downgraded it to a sell. Since then, it has delivered investors returns of 24,115%, multiplying an initial investment by 242 times. And Apple was not the biggest winner on our list of upgrades. Among all the stocks in this same category, meriting a buy in 2004 and ever since downgraded to a sell, there are 428 winning stocks with an average gain of 827%. And there are 17 losing stocks with an average loss of 25%. In other words, we've had 25 times more winners than losers. And the average gain on each winner is 33 times bigger than the average loss of each loser. Overall, that comes to an average gain of 794%, or nearly 9 times growth. Clearly, our stock ratings are a powerful tool, and with your membership in Safe Money, you get 24/7 access to all 53,000 of our ratings. You get the ability to easily create your own custom watch lists. So whenever your bank, your stocks, your ETFs, or your mutual funds are downgraded or upgraded, you get an instant alert via email or via text. And never forget, you get our Safe Money model portfolio with our picks of the best based on the Weiss ratings. Plus, here's one more great benefit. You also get our Weiss ratings daily alerts, providing critical updates on all of the above in your inbox every morning, 7 days a week. Or if you prefer, you can get our daily alerts via SMS to your mobile device or via Telegram. Now it's time for the next step, to join our private Safe Money membership. All I ask in return is a fair fee that covers the expenses of my team's research and getting the information to you. That's normally been $129 per year, which I think is an absolute bargain, especially when you recognize that it delivers financial guidance that could make such a big difference in your life. That said, I won't ask you for even the $129 today. As we both know, the crisis is already upon us, and time is running out. So I want to get my guidance into the hands of the right people who can bolster their own financial health, and by so doing, also help this great country get back on track. To improve the chances of that happening, I'm slashing $80 off the fee. Right here on this page, you can claim your 1-year Safe Money membership for just $49. That's less than 14 cents per day. And you'll receive our carefully researched recommendations for stocks, precious metals, and other wealth-building investments. Now, about our 4 urgent reports. All 4 reports will be yours just for testing out your Safe Money membership. And if you decide to leave, you'll get back every penny you've paid. That's right. We'll give you a 100% refund. You can still keep every bonus report and every monthly issue you've received. My way of saying thank you for giving Safe Money a try. With all that said, anytime you wish, just click the button below the screen and you'll have the opportunity to join our private group of Safe Money members. As soon as you do, you'll be able to download your 4 bonus reports instantly. And whatever time it may be right now, or whatever day of the week it is, you can be diving into them a few minutes from now. Then you'll immediately get full premium access to our safety ratings on virtually every bank, every credit union, and every insurance company in America, plus our investment ratings on every listed stock, ETF, and mutual fund. 53,000 ratings in all, and I might say, the only truly independent ratings in the world. You'll be receiving our Weiss ratings daily in your inbox or via alerts to your mobile device, or both if you choose. And you'll begin getting your monthly Safe Money reports as we publish them, all up to date and very timely, so be sure to tear into them ASAP. I want to do everything in my power to make sure that joining the Safe Money Inner Circle is one of the best moves you ever make for your financial independence. I want to make sure you're protected from Fed control, that your wealth grows from the opportunities you'll learn about, and that you feel free, wealthy, and in control of your future. So I'm giving you 12 full months to test drive everything you get, to take full advantage of every rating, every list, every tip, every profit strategy you'll discover. I think you'll find this is more than enough time to see the value in what you receive. There's a reason why Worth Magazine wrote that our record is so good compared with that of our competitors, consumers need look no further. But if you're anything less than thrilled, go ahead and cancel, and we'll give you a 100% refund. In other words, there's literally no risk to you. Right now, there's a button under this screen that says, Apply Now. Click that button to get started, or stick with me here. In a moment, I'll take you to our webpage with all the information you need. Here's the rundown of all your benefits. You get our complete Make Your Money Safe Again solution. That solution includes immediate access to your 4 bonus reports. Number 1, take back control of your savings and grow wealthier, sold separately for $79. Number 2, the Ultimate Gold War Chest, sold separately for $79. Number 3, 12 inflation-beating stocks for the next 12 months, sold separately for $79. Plus, The Weird Way to Make Extraordinary Profits in a Financial Crisis, also sold separately for $79. You get a full year of our monthly Safe Money report, normally sold for $129. Our model portfolio based on our prize-winning ratings, which stocks to jump into and which ones to avoid like the plague, and you get 24/7 premium access to all 53,000 of our Weiss ratings on nearly every bank, credit union, insurance company, stock, ETF, and mutual fund in America, sold separately for $228 per year. And you get our Weiss Ratings daily news alerts in your inbox every morning. That's a total value of $673, all for just $49. Between the discounts and the bonuses, you save a whopping $624. What's more, you get an entire year to enjoy all of these benefits with no obligation. I think you're going to be thrilled you made the decision to join. In fact, you don't even have to make your final decision today. You can take full advantage of everything we have to offer for the next 365 days and then decide. Even if you cancel on the very last day of your membership, you can still get back every penny you've paid, and all 4 bonus reports, plus everything else you've received, will be yours to keep just for giving Safe Money a try. Look, unlike many of the players on Wall Street and in Washington, I'm not into funny business, just a fair deal. I'm 100% comfortable shouldering the risk because I know the value you're about to receive. When you join today, the download links to all 4 of your reports will be sent to your inbox within just a few minutes. One final word. I'm convinced you must jump on this now. You've read the stories about political dissenters getting canceled and deplatformed by Google, Facebook, YouTube, and other websites. You've seen all the ingredients of the kind of crisis, financial or otherwise, that could lead the government to declare some kind of national emergency. So considering these crazy times, it's no stretch to say this message could also get deleted. And even if I'm able to continue speaking publicly about the government's dangerous overreaches, I cannot continue offering this generous $80 discount on your Safe Money membership, let alone the $624 worth of savings, bonus reports, and extra benefits you get with our complete Make Your Money Safe Again solution. So make sure you claim your spot while this page is open on your screen. Are you ready to secure your savings against Fed control? Are you ready to make your money safe again? Ready to make the smart moves to profit as the chaos gets worse? Ready to safeguard your family and loved ones, to be their respected source of financial wisdom? Ready to rest easy about your future? If so, then it's decision time. Right now, you're in the same position as many men and women throughout history who faced a dangerous force from government. So you have 3 options. First, you can do nothing. To be frank, this is the option chosen by most people. But if you take this option today, don't be surprised when the Fed control is quietly installed in your bank account and your financial records get recorded. Don't be surprised if you get flagged for donating to the wrong cause or even expressing public opinion support for the wrong person. And don't be surprised if your ability to spend and receive money gets choked off. After all, you were warned. Then there's a second option. You could take what you've learned today and do your best to protect yourself on your own. While this is certainly better than the first option, it could leave you vulnerable to crucial mistakes. The third option is to take full advantage of our hard work, 50 plus years of investment experience to make your money safe again. It's also the safest option because of our 100% money back guarantee. You can use every single one of my research reports and make a few simple moves with your savings. You can use our stock ratings to help you avoid the garbage, always selecting strictly those at the very top of our list. You can follow the model portfolio we give you every month in Safe Money Report. And if you're not completely satisfied for any reason, simply give us a call or send us an email and you'll get every penny back. Now that you've come this far, it's decision time. You cannot unlearn the disturbing facts you've learned today. For example, you've learned how the unelected officials at the Federal Reserve are gearing up their program to gain new powers over your checking account. You've learned how they will have the ability to monitor the money you receive and spend. You've learned how they have the power to use this information to threaten, bully, and even freeze your money. And you've learned how fast they plan to start rolling out this program in the United States. But that's not all you've learned. You've also learned how it's possible to protect your savings. You've learned how it's also possible to grow your wealth and be able to safeguard your family even through America's darkest times. So the moment has come to pick a side. You can be on the side of people who willfully ignore the danger and hope for the best, or you can claim your spot on the side that stands up to government overreach, stands up to tyranny, and stands up to anyone who might take away control of your own money, so you can enjoy the opportunity to grow your wealth as you see fit. If you're still on the fence, remember the quote I shared earlier from an elected official wielding the power to control bank accounts. We now have the tools to follow the money. We can see what's happening and what is being planned in real time, and we are absolutely determined. If you want to protect your savings, you must be even more determined. Get started today. Click the button below to begin your risk-free trial to save money, to make your money safe again. If you hesitate, if you shrug your shoulders, if you close this page and bury your head in the sand about what's coming, I think you could bitterly regret it later. If your money gets frozen and your spouse calls you to wonder why your Visa or MasterCard isn't working, you might look back on today as the day when you needed to take action, but you hesitated, you blinked. My friend, it doesn't have to be that way. You still have your opportunity. And as someone who's been in this game for 50 plus years, I can assure you that now is the ideal time to grab it. Click the button below to get instant access to all the bonus reports I've told you about today. You'll be able to download them momentarily, no matter what day or time it may be. Then, after you make a few simple moves based on what you discover in the reports, you get to sit back, smile, and relax in the knowledge that you've protected yourself and your family. Press the button below to claim your 4 bonus reports and make your money safe again. Good luck and God bless.